Hello, poor viewers who have stumbled upon this video by mistake. I'm Yeep,
Another vote of confidence. I'm Yoop.
and we're going to talk about micromages today because we've been playing that for the past couple weeks, and we
Hell
like
yeah.
to talk about games that you might not have heard of, or maybe have it in your Steam library and never played it. But this game is Micromages. It's a new NES game that released last April.
It sounds so long. Sounds so long to say new NES game, but I love it.
It came from a couple of homebrewers who were trying to build a game within a month and make it compatible with an NES, and not only compatible with the NES, with a 40 kilobyte cartridge, which is the same size as something like Super Mario Brothers. So no extra hardware.
Was it done? Wait, was it done in a month?
No, it wasn't. It actually was done in 2 years.
Oh, well. A little more complicated than we thought, I guess.
Yeah, 2 years. Also, it was funded through Kickstarter, which is pretty cool. And you can get a physical copy of the game on NES, or just buy it for a PC, and it comes with a NES ROM. So about the actual game, it's a what I'd categorize as a vertical platformer, where you're platforming, shooting, but you're going up instead of to the left or right. And
Yeah, it's like an up scroll.
Yeah,
Is what I was trying to call it.
it's an up platformer.
It's an up scroll. It scrolls up.
So Micromages is an up scroller for the NES.
Correct.
It's a vertical platformer, and it can support up to 4 players, multiplayer locally. On the NES, you can use an extension that lets you have up to 4 controllers in, and on PC, you can just plug 4 controllers in. And how about we start with the easy stuff? How's this game look?
Amazing.
Yeah, considering it was stuck on the NES limitations, it looks absolutely fantastic. The sprite work is amazing. The animations are fluid, and the backgrounds look pretty awesome along with the environment.
Yeah, I know I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit to a different topic, but just with the ideas and limitations, like, do you guys know how crazy it is, some of the music that's on the NES, with how they had to program the music back in the day? And that actually sounds like something that's actually a tune instead of just like beeps and boops. That's like, this game, the music is like another level.
The music, the graphics, everything is phenomenal for an NES game. This isn't something that you would have imagined that you could see running off of an NES. And there's even a video explaining how they managed to fit it into the 40 kilobyte size.
The game, for like just the graphic style being limited, like the characters and the enemies have so much like personality packed into them. Like with some of the animations, you could definitely like see what they're maybe thinking, instead of just being like just programmed to move a certain way. Especially the death animation.
The death animation. You just burst. It's horrifying.
No, you burst, and then your like body slides on the floor face down.
God, I wish that were me.
It's like so soul crushing.
I think what Yoop and I have both been trying to say is this game feels like a modern game in the way you control the character, and the way the characters interact with the environment, even down to like little bits of dust coming up when you're holding onto a wall, or you stop running. It doesn't feel like an NES game, and I could be wrong, but I haven't seen presentation elements like that in a real life NES game.
Right, like the only comparison I could really think of to like an actual game that existed on the NES is like Mega Man, with the shooting, but like not with the wall jumping like they do in the game.
And it's a lot smoother than older NES games.
Oh god, it's so good.
Which, so good. The game feels incredible to play, and just interacting with the game without doing anything is fun. Just jumping around is a blast. So I think that gives us an okay segue into talking about the controls.
They're pretty tight.
They are quite tight, and like we said before,
Like if like the game's not cheap. Like if you die, it's something you did wrong. It's not because of anything other than you making a bad move.
Yeah, they're tight, they're responsive, they're snappy. But the
Snappy.
Snappy, isn't that a good word?
That's a damn good one.
Comes from writing customer emails all day. But the controls are fantastic, and like we're gonna say this 1,000 times, it doesn't feel like an NES game. It feels like a game that was made today. That's just inspired by NES games. But this.
Well, I was gonna say, in a way, it feels like okay. So like the experience playing it for the first time, like it felt like playing like a game back when we were kids, and there was no like internet to look up stuff. There was no, there's like Nintendo Power maybe, but like it wasn't at first. So like I didn't know what was going on. Like we didn't know the enemies that were coming up.
Yeah, and that's...
That freaking skull scared the crap out of us the first time.
Oh my god, I got
like it brought back a very like nostalgic, childlike discovering a new NES game feeling that I haven't had in quite a long time.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It definitely was a super nostalgic game to play, even though I did not even grow up on an NES. But yeah, it just has, you're in your room late at night. You just got back from the video store.
Blockbuster.
Out of the corner of your eye, you see him, Shia LaBeouf.
Oh god, okay.
I'm sorry, dear viewer, that you had to stumble on this, but you're stuck with us, and we just have to make the most of it.
Yes, please don't leave. I promise you we're not stupid. I mean, I can't make that promise.
I think that actually, your point before about the difficulty in discovering new enemies and it feeling like an old NES game, and what's nice about this is this feels like an old NES game but isn't like cheap. There aren't cheap deaths. It's designed to be easy to pick up and play, but the game gets pretty hard later on. I mean, Yeep and I weren't able to play it.
Yes. However, going back to those first levels, we
can fly through those first levels, but once we get to like the third area, then we start to die.
I mean, that's a good segue into the pacing.
This game is
probably.
Yeah, this game is phenomenally paced. The challenge and difficulty curve is, I don't want to say perfect, but it really is, for the most part, perfect. The bosses, I'd say they're pretty easy to figure out, but they still present a decent challenge, even if you're on your like 7th playthrough.
Yeah, what it kind of reminded me of was like Kirby, like the way the Kirby bosses used to work, because like they weren't all defeated the same way, and these guys are not defeated the same way. There's like different tricks you gotta do. I mean, ultimately you're shooting them, but like it's different challenges there. I like games that like kind of subconsciously will prepare you for the challenges ahead, and this is definitely one of them in retrospect.
Oh, definitely is. And the enemies are thrown at you at such a steady pace, and they just, the way everything is presented to you and the way you progress through levels just feels good and is just a phenomenal piece of design. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, chef's kiss.
And just to add on a tiny bit here, this game doesn't have save. There's no save options on the NES, on the NES version or the PC version, and you are reliant entirely on passwords and unlimited continues.
Yeah, because if you're like playing, you die in World, like on the boss of World 3, you're gonna get spit back to the first level of World 3 anyway during the same session. It's just if you're gonna turn the game off, get that password for next time. You can just pop it in and go straight there. But you don't need it in the same session.
What's nice about this game is the multiplayer and single player. While you're playing the same levels, same enemies, same basically everything, give vastly different experiences. For example, playing alone, you don't have to coordinate with someone else, but due to the way the characters can bounce off each other and hit each other and push each other, and even a power-up where you trade spaces with your with the other player, it becomes
Oh God.
it adds so much to the game. But both ways of playing it are fine, but multiplayer is a bit of extra fun. When Yoop and I first started playing, we were just constantly bouncing into each other and pushing each other off ledges,
And taking each other's power ups.
taking each other's power ups. Oh my god! And
Trying to have the most points.
you're trying to have the most points because what's nice is the game is fun to like screw your partner over, but at the same time, if you coordinate and you get things really right and you get into like a rhythm and you get into the
Oh
flow,
God, sometimes
it's magical.
it was just right sometimes, you know. However, also in multiplayer, which is the unique, I don't think I've ever seen this in a game, where if player 2 dies and you're still alive, they'll come as a ghost. They can still keep playing with you, but when they shoot things, they'll freeze them, so you can, as the alive person, go and kill them and not get shot by the other things or hit by those things. And if the ghost does their job correctly, it really helps both of you. If you go to the exit, like they'll come back in the next level. So it's like you're still helpful, but like also you can come back to life if you find a power up in the blocks or the chests.
What was great is this game didn't have the issue of if one player dies, they're not sitting there bored out of their mind.
Yeah, no, you're always engaged, even if it meant you just kind of stay out of the other person while they did the walk. Which
or mocked
happened
them.
a few times. Or mocked them, because like sometimes we got a little spicy with each other, and we did not want to help the other player because they did something stupid. So we just float there and wait for them to do the walk or get killed again. But yeah, like that was the really unique thing about the multiplayer, which I like. Okay, so speaking from my childhood experience playing NES games, I never really had. I usually didn't have multiplayer games to begin with, and two, if I did, I didn't really have people who played with me. Being the single child, so this was like really unique for me to play with somebody else, a game that I did not know.
Funny you mentioned that because I didn't get into gaming until like high school and middle school. So being able to play an old style game with like, another human who also likes games
Yes.
was like nostalgia, but for something I didn't have.
Dude, that's like I like this game, like I don't know, it's very like it's like Mario feeling, because I'm like, oh man, this feels so good to play, but like I did not play as a kid, so it's like I can't be nostalgic for a new game, can I?
I think you can. Yeah, I don't know if there's a whole lot to talk about the single player experience because it's basically the same thing but without the other person. It's
Well,
still
the mood, I guess, the mood,
it,
because death is more important to not die.
I mean, it
And
is and it isn't, but I think the enemies are also a tad easier, so it's
it depends, because I know that one part with the two skeleton guys and then the goat with the bubbles. That part, when we like teamed up and like one of us bounced on the other and shot, like we could kill all three of them without getting hit. Like that part I found harder on my own.
I actually found that whole section much easier on my own.
Oh, maybe you're the pro player.
Get good
Maybe
scrub.
you're elite.
I am.
Maybe you're the elite player here.
I am the elite.
I am the chosen one.
Oh man.
One thing that I wanted to say that doesn't really fit into this section, but I forgot to say earlier, the
What
level
sections?
design.
We have no rules.
We kind of were trying to make a
We gave
flow,
up.
I thought, but okay. The level design, I like the fact there were multiple paths you could take with like risk and reward. Because like sometimes there were blocks that were not in your path immediately, and it's like the screen's scrolling up, so maybe you could get to them and get an item and then run back and get up quick enough to get to the next screen.
So I think both overall, me and you absolutely adored this game. It was so much fun to play, and we spent way more time playing it than I think either of us were expecting.
Yeah, it's oddly addictive.
Oh, it's super addictive, and we played it on like we both have little handheld emulator devices, so we played on that. We played on the PC together, and It
apart.
was. What do you say?
And we played it in single player or just on the computer and stuff as well.
Yeah, so
we got the whole caveat of
we did not play it on an original NES because neither one of us has a working one.
Well, I do, but it's not with me. I don't have the cartridge. That would have been a bit much.
I kind of want to get the cartridge, but
oh, me too.
It's like $40 too, and I'm like,
okay, wait. One thing I wanted to say. Be careful if you play multiplayer, because this happened to us once and it threw us off so bad. So, Yeep was always player 1, I was always player 2. And one time we went to play, and somehow I was player 1 and he was player 2, and our colors got switched, and we could not deal with that. Like, it was so, like, it was so not okay to change characters.
I find it so funny how we literally had to restart the game because we swapped characters. We are weak humans.
I could not be purple. I could not be purple. I'm
purple.
Orange.
Yeah, I like the purple guy. The other thing I wanted to mention, with the NES cartridge, you also get a full like game manual, and you can also download a PDF of this when you buy the game.
Yeah,
even
it's very lovely.
Even if you only have it for PC and you have the digital version, it is so worth looking through because it's very reminiscent of like the Zelda or the Mario game manuals.
I did want to bring up, I'm sure you'll see footage of us doing this throughout this.
Playing badly?
But the little dancing animation that had like no purpose in the game was amazing.
Honestly, after defeating a boss, it's the best part of the game.
Yeah, just because you defeat it, and then it's like a couple of seconds before it like takes you to the next level. You just stand there and dance, and it gives you such a good feeling.
So overall, both of us think the game's fantastic. In almost every way, from the graphics, the design, the gameplay, the multiplayer and single player. It's all fantastic, and I think you could recommend this game to most people, even if they're not into retro games, because I'm not super into retro games.
Yeah.
And I had a blast with this.
We didn't compare notes before, but I was going to say, especially if you're a retro gamer or like you're really nostalgic for the retro games of old, definitely give this a try.
The one thing we didn't do was we didn't play with 4 people, which I wish we could have, but
we
don't have enough friends.
I was trying to think if we could possibly do that. We don't have friends. It's just us. No.
You're interested, have $5-6, want to kill some time, maybe have more friends than us.
I mean, we're doing the Backstreet Boys reunion tour, so you might want to pick up something to do.